Morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today? I'm kind of panicking because okay, hold on. I need to do one thing and then we will be ready for today's show. You can tell this is a professional outfit this morning. Okay. All right. We're ready to go. You guys, we're here with Corinne today. Everybody say hi to Corinne. I need to give you an update on Mock because there is all sorts of stuff happening this week behind the scenes. A lot of crazy, stressful stuff. Thomas. Let me give you an update on Thomas. So he's doing well as can be expected. He's going to be discharged from the hospital today, and then they're going to put Thomas in hospice. That means that he's never going to have to go into an ER ever again. He's never going to have to go into a hospital ever again. This is, I guess, a relief for everybody. It's a relief for him. He could be on hospice for months or years, depending on how he wants to keep fighting. And Thomas is a fighter. If anybody here knows Thomas or has ever met Thomas, he is a lot like his mama. He's like a happy warrior, very happy kid. So he's a fighter, very happy fighter. So I don't know what that means. Right now, it's a lot of unknowns. For Miriam, for Mock, and for Thomas. So there's going to be no more antibiotics, IV antibiotics, no more needles, no more anything, no more prodding and poking for him other than meds to make him comfortable and obviously a really good hospice staff for him. So she wanted me to tell you guys all that so we could be prepared for Monday when she comes back and she wouldn't have to relay everything. Anyways, she has the peace knowing that he's not going to be tortured in hospitals ever again. I'm really happy for that, for her and for him. But there's also the fear of unknown right now. So if y'all could pray for her and just keep praying for her and praying for him, that would be wonderful, just for peace and peace for him and peace for her and everything that she's going through and everything that he's going through. And I appreciate that. I know that she really appreciates that, but I know her family really appreciates that too. So she'll be back on Monday. We may or may not have a show on Friday. We're definitely going to have one, obviously, today and then tomorrow. And thank you to Corinne for filling in this week. So grateful. We have a wonderful staff, just great people that work with our show. And props to Corinne, props to Valen for helping out this week and all hands on deck. So really appreciate that and appreciate the prayer. So that is the update on that for all the people wondering. Also, this is out of the blue. I saw this morning. Dolly Parton's sister was requesting prayers because she is sick. I saw that. Dolly Parton, you guys. So something's going on with Dolly Parton. I think her husband died a couple months ago, if I'm not mistaken. But her sister Frida has requested prayer warrior. She's 79 years old. And I think that they issued a statement. Her doctor, she's having health challenges. There's a bunch of procedures she's going through. So that's happening. And then we have a lot of...
know that. She just looks so good every time you see her. She has so much energy.
Ageless. She's one of those where it's Dolly. Like... Right. We always say, don't F with your face. I totally forgive her for all of that because she's one of those people where she is kind of ageless and she's just Dolly, Yeah. So anyways, well, we have a lot of news, you guys. We have somebody said she's 92. I read she was 79. I feel like, I don't know. I'm not sure what her real age is, but
she's ageless to me.
She's ageless, right? She's just Dolly. We have a lot of news. First things first, Mark Carney came to the White House yesterday and Trump was joking about the US-Canada merger, which I kind of love, even though I don't want Canada to be part of I don't want to merge with them because that would be a disaster electorally. And I mean, Canadians, if you're a Canadian here, I'm sure you're wonderful, but I just don't want a bunch of Canadians being part of our electoral system. So there's that. But Trump is always pushing the boundaries. We have a clip of he and Mark Carney discussing that.
Many respects the most important. What you traded
of Canada
no,
and the
what
United
you
States.
traded. That wasn't where I was going.
And then he's joking about that, but you can tell Mark Carney's like, no, I don't want to do that. He's always, but Trump is going to Trump, and people are freaking out about that, but he's always going to push for that, which I don't know if I quite understand his push for that, but
I feel like he's like frat boy trolling at this point, but I love it. I actually think it's so funny because Canada is so mean to the United States, and we do support so much of their country. So I think he's just kind of always like digging the knife in a little bit, and that he knows at the end of the day they're gonna have to come to the table anyway.
Yeah,
just like insulting them to their faces, and then reminding them that they have to play ball with us, and he can actually say whatever he wants. And that's a little bit mean, but it is hilarious.
It's very, very Trumpy, very Trumpy. Quickly, you guys got to talk about Bulwark. You get one retirement. I switched to Zach Abraham a few years ago to handle our retirement stuff. And I'm so glad that I did that because this year we're up like 28%. And Zach actually communicates that stuff with us. My other guy did not do that. I feel like I had to pull teeth and get in appointments with them and understanding what all of our retirement stuff was doing, and not with Zach because he treats us like family. He will do that with you. His team is awesome and they're responsive and they're knowledgeable. He wants you to succeed in your retirement, and your success, our success, is his success. He's a conservative guy. He has values just like us. And he and his team are always focusing on risk management, especially in the world of complete chaos that is finance right now. They are always looking for opportunities to lower risk, lower costs, and give your retirement as much upside as possible. You can visit knowyourriskpodcast.com for your free Know Your Risk review. It's free. That's all you got to do. So if you just want a second opinion on your retirement, he's the guy to go to. You can go back to basics and get that second opinion at knowyourriskpodcast.com. Don't put it off because, again, you have one retirement, you guys, and he is the best. I have to read the disclaimer. Investment advisory services offered through Trek Financial LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Investments involve risk and are not guaranteed. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Trek 25284. Okay. Let's talk about Katie Porter because she's batshit crazy. She is the leading Democrat candidate in California's 2026 governor primary race. And she did a pre-recorded CBS Sacramento interview with this chick who was just asking her about Trump voters. They make up 40% of the constituency. And she basically flipped the game table. She was like, you can't ask me about that. She's a total diva, total brat. Let's watch that clip.
40% of California voters who you'll need in order to win, who voted for Trump.
How would I need them in order to win, man?
Well, unless you think you're going to get 60% of the vote. You think you'll get 60%. Everybody who did not vote for Trump will vote for you. That's what you're saying.
In a general election, yes. If it is me versus a Republican, I think that I will win the people who did not vote for Trump.
What if it's you versus another Democrat?
I don't intend that to be the case.
So how do you not intend that to be the case? Are you going to ask them not to run?
No, I'm saying I'm going to build the support. I have the support already in terms of name recognition. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to do the very best I can to make sure that we get through this primary in a really strong position. But let me be clear with you. I represented Orange County. I represented a purple area. Mm-hmm. I have stood on my own 2 feet and won Republican votes before. That's not something every candidate in this race can say. If you're from a deep blue area, if you're from LA or you're from Oakland, you don't have an experience.
But you just said you don't need those Trump voters.
Well, you asked me if I needed them to win.
So you don't
I
think
feel like this is unnecessarily argumentative. What is your question?
The question is the same thing I asked everybody, that this is being called the empowering voters to stop Trump's power grab. Every other candidate has answered this question. This is not
correct. And I said I support it.
So, and the question is, what do you say to the 40% of voters who voted for Trump?
Oh, I'm happy to say that. It's the do you need them to win part that I don't understand. I'm happy to answer the question as you have it written, and I'll answer it.
And we've also asked the other candidates, do you think you need any of those 40% of California voters to win? And you're saying, no, you don't.
No, I'm saying I'm going to try to win every vote I can. And what I'm saying to you is that...
Well, to those voters. Okay, so you...
I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it.
Oh,
thank you.
Really? Okay. She totally crashed out. She totally did. I cannot. She is psychotic. Oh my God. And she's also had staff like turnover. I mean, her congressional staff turnover is just out of control. And her personal life is a hot mess. If you look into her personal life, she's a loon. But this is what people vote for.
It is crazy to me that that became argumentative and such a conflict. That was a pretty friendly interview. Like, she would not survive one day as a Republican who is actually in a hostile situation. They just asked her a very simple question. I don't know why she flipped out like that, but she clearly has no chill at all. And I also thought that interview format was really unflattering and weird. Like, who set up those cameras and stuff?
Right. She has,
so
I love
weird.
Corinne. She has no chill, you guys. No chill at all. She doesn't. But she would last like 2 hours in the private sector. You know, she is such a may I speak to your manager kind of candidate. I cannot with this woman. She's out of control. So that's Katie Porter, everybody. That's California. That's the Democrat Party, everybody. Congratulations, Democrats. That's who represents you. We got to get to the government shutdown. Here's an update on that. So I've lost count. What are we at? 7 days? We're at 7 days now, I think. They've managed to furlough 2 million federal workers, delay programs like Social Security. That's happening. Republicans have a clean bill. Democrats are like, we want health care for illegals. That's what we're doing. But we're digging our heels in. They're digging their heels in. This is what's happening. Mike Johnson spoke about it yesterday, and I pulled a clip from CNN because it pissed me off, and we have to discuss why it pisses me off. So watch this chick lying on CNN after Mike Johnson talks.
Taxpayer-funded benefits to illegal aliens, because that's exactly what they did. When they rejected the clean CR that we sent over, the Senate Democrats.
All right, we're listening here to Speaker Johnson. He's trying to frame the shutdown as a Democratic shutdown. He also falsely claimed that Democrats want to give extend health care to illegal immigrants. That is not true.
It's true.
Illegal immigrants are not eligible for a federal health care program.
They are. Everything that she said was false, and she needs to stop messing with her face.
Yeah. I love, they are so delusional on this illegal immigrant healthcare stuff, because half the time they're complaining that, and you'll notice they say, 4 million people will lose their healthcare. And then we say those are illegal immigrants, though not Americans. And they're like, oh no, illegal immigrants don't get free healthcare. It's like, oh, are those Americans then? And they're like, no.
Right. And I'm really tired of people saying that illegals don't get free healthcare. It's just like saying that. It's almost like saying that minors can't buy alcohol. They can't. Technically, they can't, but they do, and they get drunk. I mean, this happens. It's like saying the speed limit's 55. You can't speed. That's right. You shouldn't, but people do. I actually do that, And illegals go to hospitals. They use the ER, and then who pays for that when they can't pay? That's you and me. We pay for it. We pay for their healthcare. They do it all the time, you guys. I have people that are in my family that have been in healthcare forever. This is what they do as a profession. My sister was an ER nurse. My mother was a patient liaison. They did this forever in their professional careers. That's what they do. Illegals go into hospitals, they go into ERs, and they overwhelm the system. They get treated. It's not like they get turned away. They get treated. Who do you think pays for that? It's the American taxpayer. We're on the hook for their payments. So this is what happens. They do get free health care on the backs of American citizens. I'm really tired of these people saying that they don't, because they do.
Yeah, the Obamacare websites in a bunch of liberal states brag about the subsidies for undocumented people because it's so generous of them. And I think JD Vance actually posted a bunch of the screen caps that was like, oh, we help. Here's the subsidy for undocumented. And they can deny it, but like you said, it is just a fact. We all actually know what's going on here.
Right, exactly. Gavin Newsom is getting in on this because the Democrats are trying so hard to say that this is a Republican shutdown, and he's trying to pick a fight with Sean Duffy now because he's Mr. Tough Guy. Here's a clip on that.
Thanks, Donald Trump. Burbank Airport has 0 air traffic controllers from 4:15 to 10 p.m. today because of your government shutdown. I know you guys like to spar. Do you have an answer for it?
This guy's unbelievable. The bottom line is every Republican has voted to keep the government open. Actually, in the Senate, it was a bipartisan vote. It was Democrats that voted to shut down the government. And Gavin Newsom wants to blame Donald Trump, who had a clean CR. They're fighting over potential money going into Obamacare and health care subsidies that happen at the end of this year. right? The reason they're shutting it down today is because illegals aren't getting health benefits today because of what Donald Trump did in the big, beautiful bill. So again, they're saying we care about what's going to happen at the end of the year, but they're shutting it down right now because they want illegals to get health care.
So another story.
Yeah. Yep. So, I mean, this guy is constantly picking a fight with just everybody and anybody to what? Be relevant? Like, I'm not really sure. I'm assuming he's going to run for president. This is why he's doing all of this. And if you look at his state, it's a complete dumpster fire.
Yeah, I think that Gavin thinks that if he dresses the part, he can be president, like if he wears the right suits. But I'm glad Sean Duffy shut him down. It is so nice. I just have, like, side note, every member of this administration is so well spoken and so good at these political smackdowns. You just, like, drag out the Secretary of Transportation and he delivers a beatdown to Gavin Newsom, and it is so nice that every cabinet member is so competent.
Yeah.
I love that.
He's exponentially better than Pete Buttigieg. The thing that scares me, Corinne, is that there are still people on the left who believe that Gavin Newsom is competent. And they also believe that Pete Buttigieg is. Like, there are people on the left that want Pete Buttigieg to run for president. And it's astounding to me. I just don't get it.
It's a theater kid thing for me. Like, they want to play president so bad, but they have no leadership skills. And in every example that we have of them leading, they failed.
Yeah.
So if that's their bench, I feel pretty okay about it.
Yeah, I do too. At the end of the day, I do too. So with the whole tough guy thing, because this is what they're doing. They're all trying to do this tough guy. On the left, this is a theme. There's a clip from Hakeem Jeffries. He's talking about they're asking him about what they're going to do about the shutdown. And he puts it on the laps of the people on the left and what they're willing to do. And it has this undertone of, like, civil unrest, which makes me really uneasy. And again, it goes back to the whole theme we had yesterday of these people want civil war. They want us to be at each other's throats. And this clip, this solidifies it.
You Democrats can you all try to force procedural votes on the floor if they ever gavel back in? What's the next move?
Well, public sentiment is everything, and the voices of the American people. We continue to hold events here in Washington. We'll be holding events all across the country, and we know that millions of people over the next few days and next few weeks are going to receive notices from their insurance companies indicating that because of Republican inaction, their premiums, copays, and deductibles are about to skyrocket. This is not a manufactured issue. It's a Republican healthcare crisis that is unfolding in real time. And I don't believe the American people are going to stand for it. And they know that Democrats are standing on their side.
Yeah. Okay. So then what are they going to do? Like, this is the thing. He's just so, like, combative. And the bottom line is just take it out of the CR. Get illegals out of there. Like, make it so we have a clean CR. You know what I mean? Like, make it so you guys are not trying to coddle illegals, and let's just get this done. This is all it will take. And they won't do it. They refuse to do it because they always stand on the sides of illegals and criminals, which are basically the same thing.
Yeah. I didn't really recognize Hakeem without his sombrero, and I think it's weird that he's not wearing it.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so Pam Bondi yesterday faced a bunch of grilling from Democrats. She talked to some Republicans too, but she was on the Hill. We have a bunch of clips from it yesterday, and we'll summarize at the end of all this. But these hearings are starting to get on my nerves because we watch these hearings, and I will get clips, and this is our job, is to show you guys the clips and to summarize and to, pontificate and tell you what we think about this. But I don't really, like, is this all just kabuki theater? Like, what are they doing from these? Like, what is the point of these hearings? Why do they just have hearings? Is that all they do? Or are they actually getting work done? Because I got so irritated yesterday when I was watching this, because I'm like, okay, now what? What are we doing? Because we know there's a lot of stuff going on. And then I saw a story about Biden and how they basically found that he was doing business with Ukraine, and it wasn't on the up and up. And I didn't get enough information about that yesterday. I just feel like not enough people are getting arrested, and that's starting to piss me off. So we're going we're going to go into this stuff with the Epstein files and everything. People were asking her about that. Dick Durbin of all people asked Pam Bondi point blank if she consulted with the White House about not releasing the Epstein files, and she refused to answer. Watch this clip.
With you is to read somebody that you mentioned I never heard of.
Reid Hoffman.
So who gave the order to flag records related to President Trump?
To flag records for President Trump?
To flag any records which included his name.
I'm not going to discuss anything about that with you, Senator.
Eventually, you're going to have to answer for your conduct in this. You won't do it today, but eventually you will. I yield, Mr. Chairman.
I hate that guy. I just do. He's just, anyway.
He is. And I totally think this administration has mishandled the Epstein files. It's like one of the only things I've been very critical of Trump about.
Right.
So this is not a defense. I think they have messed this up. From me, that makes sense as a criticism because I have always supported the release of the Epstein files. For these Democrats who like jump on and now all of a sudden they're interested in the Epstein files, you're not on my side. Like we're not the same. And this is all theater to you. Like I actually do care about the victims. I do care about the political corruption that's probably involved in all of these leaders that are probably in those files, which is why we're not seeing them. But Dick Durbin doesn't care about that. So what is he doing?
Right. We have proof of that. So Marsha Blackburn comes over and she's like, you don't get to talk about this kind of stuff. So here's Durbin and Blackburn talking about this.
Durbin, I find it very interesting that you refused repeated Republican requests to release the Epstein flight logs in 2023 and 2024. You fought that. Did you take money from Reid Hoffman, campaign donations, who was a huge Epstein friend? Why did you fight for years? Why did you fight to not disclose the flight logs, Senator Durbin?
I can tell you I did not refuse. One of the senators here wished to produce those logs, and I asked her to put it in writing, and she never did.
Yeah, I think Senator Blackburn would quarrel with you on that.
Well, I will quarrel with you as to read somebody that you mentioned I never heard of.
Reid Hoffman.
So who?
A few moments later.
Mr. Chairman, since Senator Durbin referred to me, I would really appreciate the opportunity to correct the record.
Oh, damn.
Because Senator Durbin knows I repeatedly asked for those flight logs. I brought up the subpoena. You even shut down the committee because you didn't want that, and you know I submitted that in writing, and you continue to misrepresent that, and I am not going to let that record stand.
Okay, Mr.
Right. So take all the seats, dude, and just as a reminder, he was asked about the flight logs in 2024. We talked about that on this show. We talked about it in 2020. Here's a video of that.
I don't know anything about his flight logs.
Oh, really?
Why won't you subpoena them? Why don't you want to know?
I don't know the issue. I know who Epstein was.
Oh my God.
I certainly don't know anything about the issue.
Really?
He was charged with sex trafficking, so why don't you want to know who was utilizing his private plane?
Never been raised by anyone.
Senator Blackburn has wanted to subpoena them, and there hasn't been a vote in your committee.
Said a word to me, not a word.
But aren't you curious, like, what high-profile or powerful people might be closeted predators and pedophiles? Doesn't that concern you?
I can't stand these people. I just cannot stand them. So, I mean, this is the thing is I don't know. I look at him and I think, okay, he's gaslighting everything that he's accusing us of. He's done. He did. And that people on the left, there's still people on the left that are like, oh my gosh, these people, I know, I get it. Like we haven't handled it well. I understand exactly what you're saying. And I get it. Corinne, I feel the same way too, but they have no business pointing fingers at us. Like they all suck. Everybody sucks,
They really do. And I always think politicians, but especially Democrats, always act as if the internet doesn't exist. Like we can't pull that video of what you said 30 minutes ago or 30 years ago. Dick Durbin is acting like we have no record of where he has stood on this.
Right.
And I know he knows how easy it would be to prove what he has said in the past. He just doesn't care. You said he was gaslighting us, and that is exactly what he's doing.
Yes, exactly. We have a lot more. First, I got to tell you about Angel Studios, you guys, and this really amazing film, this documentary that they have out right now. I have seen a lot of Angel Studios films. RFK Legacy is my favorite so far. I am a documentary girl, and I figured I'd like it, but you guys, I loved this documentary so much. So I thought I knew stuff about RFK and RFK Jr., but I learned so much about both of them in this new feature documentary. It's streaming now on Angel, and it's fresh and it's super cinematic, and it does a deep dive on the similarities between the two. That's what I took away from it. They are awesome, both of them. Like, they're really great leaders, both of them. I think that RFK Jr. took a lot from his dad, and he is a fighter against the establishment. He's a fighter for the truth. It's just a great film. The video, the pictures, the cinematography, there was stuff in there, like the pictures and the video I've never seen before. The messaging of it was really inspirational. It's very moving, everything that I want in a documentary. So I highly recommend that you see this. It was produced by Oliver and Sean Stone. You can become an Angel Guild member and stream RFK Legacy today. Join their movement and keep truth-filled stories alive. That's what they're all about. They are conservative. They're awesome. They have really great child programming too, children's and teen programming. Head to angel.com/chicks. Join and claim your perks. That's angel.com/chicks. They are awesome. Okay. So she had a run-in with Sheldon Whitehouse too about naked photos. Bondi did this. I don't even understand what's going on here. This is crazy, but we can watch that exchange here.
Something else. There's been public reporting that Jeffrey Epstein showed people photos of President Trump with half-naked young women. Do you know if the FBI found those photographs in their search of Jeffrey Epstein's safe or premises or otherwise? Have you seen any such thing?
You know, Senator Whitehouse, you sit here and make salacious remarks, once again trying to slander President Trump left and right, when you're the one who was taking money from one of Epstein's closest confidants, I believe, I could be wrong, correct me, Reid Hoffman, who was with Jeffrey Epstein on multiple occasions. And the senator sitting right next to you tried to block the flight logs from being released. Yet you're grilling me on President Trump and some photograph with Epstein? Come on.
The question is, did the FBI find those photographs that have been discussed publicly by a witness who claimed Jeffrey Epstein showed them to him?
Look at his face.
You don't know anything about that. Okay.
I thought her face was the best. She was just like, "You're a dick." You know what I mean? Oh my God, I can't.
I'm gonna screen cap that. That's gonna be a new like office meme. Whenever,
Right, just
whenever
like spread it
know.
around. Like whenever you're irritated with somebody, it's just the perfect thing. Meanwhile, this guy is the one who funneled money to his wife's NGO. Like I think there's an ethics complaint out on him because he voted in favor of laws that funded millions to grant this nonprofit that essentially gave money to his wife's consulting firm. This guy is such a skeeve. And this is the thing. So many of these guys are skeeves who are questioning her on morality. They're all gross. All of them. They're disgusting. But the best speech of the day yesterday, at least in my opinion, was Senator Schmitt. I implore you to watch the whole thing. It was like 6 minutes long. We cannot play the whole thing. We'll probably do like the first few minutes. So it just encapsulated every single thing that Democrats have done that's just shady and skeevy and gross over the past several years. It was awesome. It was a thing of beauty. I wanted to stand up and cheer for it. And then it's like, how dare any of these people question? It's like we're living in an alternate universe where they're pointing fingers at us and they've done all of these horrible things. How dare you? Like, it's just a how dare you speech. Check it out.
I have to say, I am struck by the degree of the cognitive dissonance that I hear on the other side. It really is. I mean, I'm used to sort of the political debates and arguing in court and all those sorts of things. But to hear the other side of the dais talk about weaponization is truly shocking, given what we know now. And I thought what I might do is just tell a story. And these are 100% facts. Hillary Clinton, concerned about her email scandal, works with a Soros organization to cook up this Russiagate nonsense. They feed it to the intelligence agencies. And they spy, under Barack Obama's presidency, they spy on the political opponent, the Republican, running against Hillary Clinton. He gets elected. They continue the operation, and they launder this intelligence into stuff that was meant to, by the FBI and the CIA, to sideline a presidency of a duly elected president of the United States of America, to sideline him. And that continued. You heard even some people on this committee further that nonsense for 4 years. And then the FBI is involved with pre-bunking the Hunter Biden laptop story because they didn't want him to get elected again. So they pre-bunked the Hunter Biden laptop story. The American people should have been allowed to make their own judgments from that. They weren't, because the FBI called it a Russian hack and leak operation. They were meeting with social media companies every month and every week, telling them that the laptop that they knew, that they had verified in November of 2019, they knew was real and knew was his, said it was Russian disinformation. We've heard that before. And then, after Joe Biden comes in, 3 days in, they start a censorship campaign against the country, anybody who's a conservative. And now we also know that the FBI was weaponized in this Arctic frost investigation.
Yeah, I mean, and then he went on to talk about the trials that Trump went through, the 4 different trials, and everything that he went through, like the judicial just manhunt, just the stuff. And then they tried to kill him. I mean, it's just everything that we've been through, as you know, well, everything he went through, and just by osmosis that we went through as conservatives, and the suppression and all of it. And then they dare to point fingers at us and say, you guys are bad. You guys are censoring. You guys are like squelching free speech. Oh my God. The gaslighting is just off the charts. It was a beautiful speech. The thing that bothers me, though, is that nobody's getting arrested, you know? Nobody. And that's, I'm so disillusioned. Like, somebody has to talk me off the ledge from my disillusionment, because I need some, because if the tables were turned, I feel like people would be getting arrested. Is it just me?
No, I mean, they arrested Trump for no reason.
Right.
And then they investigated him so many times for no reason, just because they didn't like him. So we have all of this proof that they used government resources to target him, to find, basically they were using government resources for opposition research so that they could get something out there that would destroy his campaign. They didn't really find anything. Everybody knows everything about Trump already, but they tried, and that's a crime. And clearly they were doing the same things when they were investigating these senators and these groups. They wanted to find something that they could put out in the public and destroy their reputation and interfere in our elections. And I do think they have to go to jail for this. But as soon as we start charging them, the left is going to feel like it's going to be so crazy and unheard of that you charge a former FBI director, and
which is
they're going to say that this is fascism. It was fine for them to do, but when we do it, there's going to be a lot more crying.
It's an autocracy. I mean, it's like, give me a break. And this is exactly what's happening. We have to push back on it, you guys. We have to get loud about it and push back, because it's all just gaslighting and projection, and enough already. It's insanity. Meanwhile, we know that Biden, his FBI spied on Republican senators. How is that okay? Just like, to your point. And Josh Hawley X'd this out yesterday. He wrote, "I'm not the only one on Dems' enemy list." He talked about, the pro-lifers outside abortion clinics, or the parents at school board meetings, or the choir directors in Catholic churches. The DOJ, they targeted all of us, and nobody should be okay with that. It's crazy. And so he was going on and on yesterday about how Congress needs to find out who they targeted and who was behind the targeting, who directed it, who signed off on it. Here's a clip about that.
Good question. I mean, who knows? This was done years after the fact, by the way. This is back in 2023 when they go and start this fishing expedition. I tell you what it looks like to me, Bill. It looks like targeting political enemies. You talk about an enemies list. I mean, this would make Richard Nixon blush. I mean, this is unbelievable what Joe Biden did. He targeted the former president of the United States, Donald Trump, when he was a private citizen. He targeted 8 Republican senators. He targeted almost 100 conservative organizations. He targeted parents who go to meetings. He targeted anybody who was in Washington, D.C. on January 6th exercising their First Amendment rights. I mean, I could just go on and on. He targeted pro-lifers who peacefully protested outside abortion clinics. This was the most out-of-control administration, the most corrupt administration when it comes to abuse of the Constitution in our history. And Bill, we've got to have an investigation that turns over the facts of everybody who was involved in this. Who signed off on this stuff? Who knew about it? We need to know.
Yeah, we do need to know. And then I would like to see some midnight raids, right? Just like people are saying. It's like, where are the raids on our side where people are, their houses and their underwear drawers are gone through? Because this is the thing. It's like, this happened on our side. What about the other side, So
yeah, I'm holding out hope. We indicted James Comey. I want them to arrest him at midnight. I want the mugshot. I want the T-shirt with the mugshot on it.
Right.
I hope we get a whole thing out of it. And I'm holding out hope. We start with Comey. Comey definitely deserved to be arrested.
Yes.
To be indicted. He deserves to be arrested. I hope that he goes down for all of the crimes. But that's just a start. He was just one guy. And we need to, I think even the guys working for him that were just taking orders, they at least, we have to make sure they're not working at the FBI right now, because they probably still are. So they have to be fired and they should be charged.
Yep. He's the first layer of the onion. So we'll see what happens. Okay. So before we get into more heavy news of the day, I saw this clip from Kaitlan Collins and I thought it was interesting. You guys watch this.
It's different because Trump is such an accessible president that, like, if he's just swearing in the ambassador to Greece, like, typically that wouldn't be a newsworthy event if President Biden or any typical president was probably doing it. But Trump's moments, anytime the camera's around and the reporters are around, it can turn into a press conference. And so you never go into the Oval thinking, oh, this is going to be a quick, we call them sprays. It's where you go in, basically a photo op, and then you leave. Because Trump will swear someone in and then he'll turn to you and say, any questions? And he'll take maybe questions for 45 minutes. And so you have to, I always keep a running list of questions on my phone.
Okay.
Because you never know when you're going to run into him or when he's going to start taking questions. And so you can't just have 1 or 2. You have to have 10 ready to go.
I think she kind of likes him. I mean,
I don't know why. Every reporter should love him. He really is the most accessible president that we've ever had
in history. I think she has a secret crush on him, you guys. I'm just putting it out there. Spread it.
She definitely
like wildfire.
Was smiling a lot there. And I think that is so funny. He doesn't really get a lot of credit for that. So I'm glad that she gave it to him, because I see that all the time. So many times I've been bumped off of Newsmax because Trump was supposed to do a hand a trophy to somebody and instead turned it into an hour-and-a-half long thing. But I love it because he doesn't care if he's doing, he is welcoming a football team to the White House, but someone asks him about what RFK is doing. He will talk about it.
He does.
So I love that.
Yeah, Crystal, our president does rock. He's accessible to everybody. He wants to talk to the people. I mean, it's so night and day of what Biden did. I love it. It's fantastic. And I love that she's recognizing it. She, of all people, I just thought it was very interesting that it was her and it wasn't somebody on Fox. It was her. It was thin-lipped Kaitlan,
Yeah, her best point ever.
I think she's secretly in love with him. All right. So you guys, real quick, we've been using Ruff Greens in our house. Let's talk about dogs real quick for what seems like forever. And I don't remember life before Ruff Greens. It's especially helpful in our shepherd dogs. I've told you that before. They lick it up. Both Bear and Theo have shinier coats now. They have less scratching, better digestion, a lot more energy. They are always outside running around and they need the energy. And Ruff Greens gives it to them. And it's not just food. It helps with aging joints. It brightens their eyes. It gives them 25 life-giving nutrients like probiotics, antioxidants, vitamins, minerals. I love it. They love it. If I don't put it on their food, they wait for it. And they look at me like, where the heck is the Ruff Greens, is what they do. Because, the little pebble dog food, the little, the brown dog food doesn't have anything in it because it loses nutrition from high heat cooking. So the Ruff Greens puts it back. This stuff was created by naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black. and it supports all the good stuff like digestion, immunity, and overall well-being. Plus, they have really good treats. I love their treats. I give it to our puppies, give it to their dogs. It's safe to give to puppies, which we really like. And they eat it. They eat them all throughout their lives. All natural, organic, really good stuff. We've been using them for years. So try some Ruff Greens, you guys. Our dogs love it. Your doggo is going to love it. It's amazing stuff. You can get a free Jumpstart bag at roughchicks.com using promo code CHICKS. Just pay for shipping. That's roughchicks.com, promo code CHICKS. All right, let's talk about the ICE raids. Chicago and what's happening there. Okay, update on that. So they have escalated into clashes. People know that there have been injuries against federal agents. A protester was wounded. Arrests have been made. I think there was a University of Chicago professor, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, Aman Abulhadi was arrested. Juan Espinoza Martinez, who is a Latin Kings gang member, he faces federal charges for offering bounties on Border Patrol Chief Gregory Bovino. And of course, everybody knows yesterday we talked about Brandon Johnson establishing ICE-free zones. Pritzker is suing to block the National Guard. And then Greg Abbott has sent in the Texas National Guard, which I'm like, you go, you do it. We have a video of the Texas Guard getting to Chicago. Here's that video.
From CNN. So we take a live look here, Broadview, Illinois. We're learning members of Texas National Guard have arrived near Chicago. Some of the soldiers gathering reportedly at a military facility outside Chicago. They're not expected immediately to begin operations. Now, they would be at a military facility because Brandon Johnson, the mayor, had signed that emergency order saying they could not stage on city property. But again, Texas National Guard arriving near Chicago.
All right. So I think this is it's reasonable. It's totally okay for them to do that because protecting federal facilities is okay for the National Guard to go in there and do that. I think it's appropriate. What do you think about this?
Yeah, well, someone has to do it. Someone has to stop the crime. And I don't know anyone who actually opposes this. There are only two groups. Criminals, they hate it, and white liberal women. They don't like it either.
Right. So Democrats are criminals. Right. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Everyone else completely agrees. You should be able to go to Chicago and not feel scared for your life.
You think? Yeah.
I don't think people feel like that in a lot of parts of Chicago.
Mm-hmm. AOC is really mad about all this. She, of course, thinks it's a fascist takeover. And she put out a video because this is what she does. She spends like half her life on TikTok. Here's a video of her talking about fascists being stupid.
And I made this early on. From all the movies that we see growing up about heroes and villains, is that I thought that fascist takeover attempts were going to be architected by evil geniuses. And I was not expecting how unearned, nepotistic, mediocre, and just dumb so many of the people architecting this were going to be. And it works because of brute force. Like, you can do anything through brute force, but it's not sophisticated and it does not merit my intellectual respect. That's my thought of the day.
She actually thinks she has intellectual merit. This is the chick who didn't know what a garbage disposal was like 2 minutes ago.
These videos, I just can't believe she keeps making them and that people keep liking them. I don't know what intellectual honesty and intellectual respect she thinks that she has earned when she's making a completely nonsensical argument. She gave 0 examples of what she's talking about.
Right.
It's always just fear mongering and nonsense. But she wanted you to know that she read a book when all the books that I read in high school made me think. Oh, she read books, guys. She's very
before
smart.
She became a bartender. Right. Yeah. Exactly. I know. So this is, and again, with the fascism, like we keep hearing about fascism, they will not stop with the fascist crap. Like they learn nothing from the Charlie Kirk thing. Fascism and Nazis. We keep hearing that. So ridiculous. Okay. Quick deviation when it comes to AOC. Like she apparently made fun of Stephen Miller's height and she wants you to laugh at him for his height. Here's that video.
Stephen Miller is a clown. I've never seen that guy in real life, but he looks like he's like 4'10", and he looks like he is angry about the fact that he's 4'10", and he looks like he is so mad that he is 4'10", that he's taking that anger out at any other population possible. Like, laugh at them. Laugh at them. Yes, they are dangerous.
Okay. So first of all, I don't think he's 4'10". I never thought he was 4'10". But she's instructing people.
This video's better.
She's instructing, you think it's better? She's instructing people to laugh at short people, just FYI. That's what is he 5'11"? LTC vet says he's 5'11". I believe that. I'd never thought he was short, but even if he was short, we're supposed to laugh at him because he's short. This is what liberals are doing now. Apparently, she got ripped for it. People were like, you're not supposed to laugh at the short community because they're marginalized. So then she came out with this video because this is what liberals do. This is what they do.
The short
Here we go.
king community.
Oh, the short king
I don't believe
community.
in body shaming.
Oh.
I am talking about how big or small someone is on the inside.
Oh, that's
like,
what
for
you were
example,
talking.
I have no idea how tall Andrew Tate is.
Okay.
No idea at all. But that guy looks to me like 5'3". Like 5'3", 5'4". Whereas physically, men of smaller stature can come across. They are spiritually 6 foot. If you're a good dad, if you stand with women, if you're not belittling immigrants, you're like, 6'3" spiritually.
Okay.
I don't know.
So
Am I being problematic?
So it's spiritually short. That's what she was talking about. Okay. What the hell is she? She's an idiot.
I love it. I love that. I think she was trying to be funny in the first video and call him short and whatever. I think Stephen Miller would not care about that at all. If he heard that, I don't think it hurt his feelings. I don't think he's taking it personally. He would get over it. And most Republicans would because
we can take jokes. We can take jokes about shortness. Yeah.
And we've taken a lot worse jokes than that one.
Totally.
But the people who can't take it are on her own side because they are offended by everything.
It is pretty funny.
Like, she meant to insult Stephen Miller and ends up having to apologize to her own people, her own friends.
For insulting Stephen Miller.
Yes.
It's great. It's fantastic. It's like a pretzel. They can't get out of their own pretzel. It's hysterical. She's like, okay, now I have to apologize for body shaming people because I made fun of Stephen Miller's stature. And he's not even short. The whole thing is ridiculous. This just shows the ridiculosity, and I love it. It's fantastic. Speaking of ridiculosity, Jon Stewart, you guys remember Jon Stewart? He's the guy that retired and then came back. He's one of those. So he calls ICE a well-funded paramilitary group that is throwing grandmothers into linoleum and zip tying American children. This is what late night talk show hosts are doing because they're hilarious, you guys. They're really, really funny. And he says that Democrats aren't doing enough to stop agents, just petty gestures. We have a clip from him.
In this last round of presidential elections. And at this moment, they have zero power at the federal level, not in the House, not in the Senate, not in the executive, and not in the courts. There has not been a moment of conciliation or concern about the issues and policies that drove those 75 million votes. Not a moment. At present, the Democrats' largest victory over these past 8 months is getting a guy who may or may not be a criminal back from El Salvador so Trump could send him to Uganda. That was the big win. And then suddenly, a small ask for people's preservation of health care is a Molotov cocktail. Because apparently Republicans won't be satisfied with 99.8% domination. They must have it all. ICE went from deporting the worst of the worst to throwing grandmothers onto linoleum and zip tying American children. And everyone's just supposed to be cool with the new masked, incredibly well-funded paramilitary group. And Democrats are just reduced to petty gestures of restroom resistance.
Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem posted that she was blocked from entering a city building in Illinois.
Can we use the restroom? No, you cannot. Okay. We can? Please don't go. Okay. Please don't go. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Interesting. That's what Governor Pritzker says is cooperation and keeping people safe.
Victory is ours!
Yeah, it's funny he didn't mention the bounties on ICE guys' heads. He didn't mention the bounty amounts that are different for kidnapping as opposed to killing them. He didn't mention that at all because that's a little more than arrest room resistance, I think. I don't know about you guys.
And who are these American children that got zip tied?
All of it's to me, it's propaganda. And you guys remember, because they're downplaying all of this stuff. They're downplaying what's happening in these cities. Do you remember when CNN did the whole fiery but mostly peaceful caption when Kenosha was literally burning behind that guy? Do you remember when that happened? I feel like this is exactly the same. What's happening right now is exactly the same as what CNN did. They're downplaying all of the stuff. Everything that's happening in these cities, the unrest, the disruption, the fighting back towards ICE agents. This is law enforcement. These people in these cities are fighting back against law enforcement. It's kind of like, I always tell my kids, if you get pulled over by a cop, if you're speeding, shut the hell up. Shut up, be polite, take your crap out, show them your crap and be nice. Don't be a jerk and you're not going to get in trouble. That's what I do. That's what I've taught my kids. I feel like people should know to do that. You don't go out there and start fighting law enforcement. That's not what you do. And that's what they're doing. And then if you get thumped, they wonder why they get thumped. That's why. This is not hard. So
and I just think it underscores the cultural issue. It's like ICE is coming in to round up the massive amount of illegal immigrants in these cities. And their response is violence. And it's like, right, that is exactly why we're here. Because that is a problem. You are not, first of all, you're not supposed to be here at all. And then your reaction to us telling you you're not supposed to be here is un-American.
Yeah.
And
I think people were not.
We have to get them out.
Exactly. And I think people were not prepared for how ugly this was going to be because, we knew, I feel like I knew, and a lot of people here knew that when we voted for this, we voted for mass deportations. It wasn't going to be pretty. It's not like it was going to be a thing where people were going to be like, okay, let me line up and just leave voluntarily. Some people did, but some people are going to be like, no, I'm not effing leaving. And when people say, I'm not effing leaving, somebody's going to have to force you to leave. And that does not look pretty. It doesn't. And people are not comfortable with that. Well, they shouldn't have broken into our country. And sometimes the people that break into our country are people like gardeners and people that work in the food service industry and people that do things that apparently Joe Rogan and company think that those people shouldn't leave because it should just be like drug cartel members. Well, there are some people here that are working and they're in jobs that you think are okay jobs and they're not just like drug dealers, but those people are also here illegally and they also need to leave. And I'm sorry that's inconvenient for you, but that's just the way it goes. And I'm prepared for that. I think that a lot of people here are prepared for that, or we were, but some people just find that to be very uncomfortable, Yeah.
And I think the left thinks that if they make it uncomfortable, we will back down. But I think more people are like you and I, and we are prepared for this. And we knew it was going to be a battle. So you can keep screaming and you can keep fighting police officers. We did know what we're getting into and we're committed to it. So I don't think we're going to back down.
Yep. We voted for this. We absolutely voted for this. Okay, so Margaret Cho, people like Margaret Cho. Do you guys remember her? Okay, so this is what comedy is now on the left.
Well, they are like these guys who just have never ever done anything in their lives. They're failures and wannabes, and they could never become police. They could never live up to anybody's idea of what a man should be. And finally they're given some power and they're using it on children. They're using it on the elderly. They're using it on people that are much smaller than them because it's just they have this power and now they're high off it because they've never had any power in their lives. They're so despicable.
Yeah. Okay. So why do they always have the standard issue bangs like that?
I feel like that's those bangs immediately mental institution.
Yeah. It's like the bangs and the glasses that are really thick. You know what I mean? It's like you add those and you got to just stay away. Keep 10 feet distance between you and that individual because damn, you know. All right. So thank God the liberal boomers are singing. You guys are singing in Portland because this is going to help. You ready? Here we go. Thank goodness. They're singing, you guys. And I was trying to figure out yesterday, I was like, Pritzker reminds me of some celebrity. I could not remind myself. I couldn't figure out like who is the celebrity. Because, you know, Mock does that. Mock will help me and she'll be like, okay, this is the combination of people or the celebrities. This is it. I saw this clip and I'm like, this is it. This is a celebrity that Pritzker reminds me
I am not afraid and I won't back down.
It's Jabba the Hutt. It's the weird science. God. Is it Jet? Is that his name? Chet? It's Chet from Weird Science. That's who it is. That's who he reminds me of, just so everybody knows. Okay, so in today's diversity is our strength news. We're gonna go to Denmark real quick. They did a study of Denmark and people, asylum seekers and their kids for 30 years. And they had a shocking result. And I just wanted to share it with you guys because I thought it was very interesting that they did this study because a lot of people aren't looking at that across like European nations or whatever. And we definitely aren't doing that, I don't think. So this is interesting. Here you go.
The Danish government passed a law allowing the immigration, specifically of 321 refugees from Palestine. And the study followed them from 1992 to 2019. Out of the original 321 Palestinians, 204 ended up being convicted of a crime. 71 of them were jailed, and 176 ended up on welfare. So that accounts for 63% became criminals and were convicted, and more than half ended up on welfare. So they followed the second generation. They had 999 children. 337 ended up being convicted of a crime. 132 of them ended up being jailed, and 372 of them ended up on welfare. So that's a 34% conviction rate and a 37% welfare rate. Their very own Justice Minister later stated in a 2019 interview, and this is the guy who presided over this entire thing, by the way, and I quote, "These asylum seekers should not have been let in."
Well, isn't that interesting? It's very interesting. So I think it's okay for us to be discerning on who and who we don't let into the country. You know?
You would think. Yeah. Common sense.
And that doesn't make you xenophobic. Just pointing that out. Kamala Harris, she made a surprise visit to Howard University. I believe it was yesterday, as part of her book tour. And she looked completely drunk and stupid as normal. She's also like just dropping F-bombs all over the place. We'll get to that. But first, here's Kamala at Howard University being very Kamala-esque.
So proud of all of you. You know how privileged I feel to have been educated at Howard University. There is so much about everything I have achieved, and I've been the first to do many things because of being here when I was your age, knowing that everything that I'm being told and can feel tells us we can be and do anything, that we expect you to be leaders locally, statewide, nationally, and internationally.
Okay. All right. They were so delighted too. The kids were like, oh my God, this is so great. They were very happy to see her, which was weird.
Well, I think, of course they were. She is living the college kid's dream, which is being day drunk and photographed, which is absolutely my dream as well. So I try to knock her for this, but I'm like, that sounds so fun. Like,
right. Just walking around and just being day drunk. It is like living the dream, the American dream, really. That's right. And living off of just taxpayer dollars. It is a good life if you can get it. It's a pretty good life. Okay, she's also dropping F-bombs all over the place. Scotch, you guys. This is her being all like wine mom gangster. Check it out.
There's so much about this moment that is trying to make people feel like they've lost their mind. When in fact, these motherfuckers are crazy.
Okay, so that's one. That was just one. She's just letting it fly now. It's just so, it seems so weird, you know, 'cause she's wearing like the pantsuit. It's such a strange dichotomy. It doesn't seem
they got
to
that
work.
memo that was like cussing is so relatable and American, but it still seems which I think is fine. I don't care when people swear, but it does feel weird from them. Like it does.
It doesn't
It's
work.
too planned,
Yeah.
too unnatural. I don't like it from them.
Right. It's sort of like, didn't she say once in an interview that she smoked pot or something? And she's like,
And
I
yeah,
smoke pot and here's my pantsuit and I'm edgy and I'm going to use the F-bomb. Here's another one. This is another one.
Some level of concern and care. It's not just basic fucking curiosity.
Okay. And she is tacky, isn't she, Melody? She's tacky. And her pantsuit, somebody has got to get your, can you not wear like something else besides just a standard issue pantsuit? What is it with that?
I think there's a stylist for liberal women because she used to wear like normal cute clothes. If you look at
She
her
did?
stuff when she was in California or when she was dating
Montel
Montel or
Williams.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at her outfits. She looks great. They're pretty and totally different style. Obviously she's aged a little, but like you don't just all of a sudden only wear
Yeah.
pantsuits.
Like get everything
someone
from
instructed her.
It's like she and Hillary get everything from the Kim Jong-un collection. It's ridiculous. Okay,
Shapeless and
so
ugly.
yeah, it's really bad. All right, so quickly, we need to just let you guys know that because I don't think we talked about this the other day, and I just wanted to make sure everybody knows that Kavanaugh's would-be assassin got 8 years. That's it. That weirdo that tried to. He goes. It's a he. I don't. What was his real name? I don't even know his real name, but he goes by Sophie Brodsky. He flew across the country to Kavanaugh's house with a gun and other weapons to try to kill Kavanaugh. And he got 8 years. NBC gave cover to this dude. They put it on their website and they reported about this guy, called him a she, and didn't say he was trans until like 5 paragraphs in. So they gave him cover. So many people gave him cover. And honestly, I think that he only got 8 years because he's transgender. This is what a lot of people are saying. He got a really easy sentence because of this. So that's happening. We have a short clip on that.
Attempted to kill Brett Kavanaugh isn't a man. He's trans. New court documents reveal Nicholas Roski has changed his identity.
That's his name.
He's now Sophie Roski. Filings show that Roski actually used female pronouns before trying to kill Kavanaugh. So here we have more trans terrorism. Sophie faces 30 years in prison and has already pled guilty. Just a matter of time until Kimmel says Sophie's MAGA.
Yeah.
Is he going to a female prison or?
I think so. I think that's the case.
That is absurd. I don't
It
understand
is.
how feminists are not outraged by that.
I don't understand how feminists aren't outraged about a lot of crap these days. About men being in our spaces, period. They're not feminists. We're the feminists now. It's crazy how that everything just is upside down in that world. Yeah. Feminists are borked. And I feel like claiming that you're a transgender just gives you lighter sentences, like they go easy on you. This is what's happening. It's nuts, you guys. And speaking of Kimmel, he still has Trump living rent-free in his head. We have a clip of him the other night. The TDS is strong in this guy. Check this out.
We've had a hell of a couple of weeks, but I did get some exciting news this weekend. According to a new poll from YouGov, which is a serious polling site, or they were before this, I am more popular than the President of the United States. Thank you. Well, thanks. You remember the guy who keeps saying I have no ratings? Well, that makes 2 of us. They polled more than 1,000 people, and I lead Trump by 16 points. I'm at +3. He's at -13.
This guy, seriously, that's what you're gonna do on your show, on your late night show. Do you remember like Johnny Carson? Do you remember?
Yeah. A Trump press conference is funnier than Jimmy Kimmel. Like I crack up the whole hour and a half that Trump is going on. So what a terrible poll.
It just is ridiculous. I have 2 clips I just want to show you guys. The first one is of Jimmy Kimmel on The Man Show. You guys remember The Man Show? Do you remember that? Do you remember? Remember this?
Of the statue.
Remember?
Do you think that she's
You guys remember that?
Do you think that she's attractive or not?
Yeah. Also, this also is Jimmy Kimmel. Remember this? Do you guys remember this? That's also Jimmy Kimmel. Just wanted to point that out. Yeah, he's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Okay, don't really wanna, but we have to do a follow-up of all the Candace stuff, you guys. There's so much stuff happening in Candace's world. Yesterday, TPUSA confirmed that the text messages, all the stuff that we talked about yesterday, they are they're for real. They're authentic. And the anti-Israel camp is like, ooh, everybody needs to apologize to Candace. And I'm not really sure for what, because there are texts, sure, but there's also a letter to Netanyahu. So that is also real. So the two things can exist together, I think. You know, they're taking the first part of Andrew Colvett, who is the guy that is a part of all of this. He's the one that is the spokesperson for TPUSA, and we have a clip of him. But I think, in fact, I'm trying to figure out how to frame this all so you guys can see kind of the progression. And we probably should just play Andrew Colvett and another TPUSAer talking about the authenticity of the text, because some people are saying they're taking just one part of this, and that is, yes, they are authentic, and that's it. And then they're pulling it and saying, see, but there's a lot more to it, because they talked very extensively about this. And I pulled a little bit longer of a clip so you can see more context. Here is that clip that I pulled.
We were going to do the tour, and he's going to get asked about Israel. What was he going to say? And this is consistent with things that he told his friends, people that are, in the wider movement, about his wrestle that he was going. And so I just want to say, like, what is the truth about the way Charlie felt about Israel? Well, it's complicated and it's nuanced, and it was a wrestle that was going on for months, and it's probably somewhere between the BB letter and the text group text.
I don't even think there's a between about it. I think those are entirely consistent with the exact same worldview. Yes. Charlie was not hiding things from people. People are going to try to make you fixate on a particular quote or a particular line to make you think that there was something hidden. There was nothing hidden about Charlie's views on Israel. Like, Charlie, I worked with Charlie on every major issue that we talked about, immigration, abortion, the transgender stuff. And he thought about the Israel issue a ton, all the time. It was in the news all the time. People cared about it a lot. He cared about it a lot. Just before the shooting happened, I finished reading, this is a 700-page book about the history of the Israel-Palestine conflict. I read this book because Charlie said, Blake, get really well-versed on this so you can help me whenever it comes up, and just know stuff off the top of your head. Yeah. So I read it for that reason. If you want to know Charlie's views on the Gaza war, he wanted the war to end. He didn't want America to take Palestinian refugees. He was annoyed when people advocated that. He didn't want American troops on the ground there or with any other war. And he was upset when he saw stories about churches being damaged or Christians being killed. But at the same time, he recognized Hamas started the war. Hamas could end the war. Israel ultimately represented European civilization. Hamas represented Middle Eastern barbarism. And Hamas were the chief evildoers, and people who supported them were almost always supporting them for these bad, like, anti-civilizational reasons. Yeah. That's what his view was. And he was public about that. And then as it continued, Charlie talked to young people all the time.
And I think that was an important context in this discussion. A lot of people are leaving that out. That he was very clear. Yeah, he was very clear in his beliefs about, Hamas and then Israel. And I feel like that's getting lost in the translation a little bit.
But I actually think it's getting lost on both sides. I think that people want to define, like, BB comes out and says, Charlie is the best friend and he never doubted Israel. And then Candace comes out and says, like, he hates them, basically.
Israel, right.
I don't think either of those things are 100% true. And I think exactly how his friend explained, and I think how most Americans view this, is it is a complicated thing. I will never be pro-Palestine because of all of the reasons stated. They are anti-American, they're anti-Western civilization, they're anti-freedom. But that doesn't mean that Israel doesn't need some tweaking on messaging from every now and then, and it doesn't mean that that they are above criticism either.
Right, and that doesn't make you an anti-Semite to do that.
Absolutely,
And he actually said that. Right, he said that.
And it is, I feel like there is this thing where they're like, you have to be in this camp or this camp. It's like, well, most people are talking about this over here, like in the middle. It isn't, I hate them or they can do no wrong. I love them forever. You can actually talk about these things. And I think even in that letter to Netanyahu, I think Charlie God, he was so good at what he did. This is a conversation, always a conversation. And we have to win hearts and minds. And that means talking about hard truths and getting to the bottom of this. So I agree with you. I think people are completely leaving out the context and trying to define this in a way that Charlie never defined it.
They're trying to take his words and mold them to their agenda. And that pisses me off. And I think it would probably piss Charlie off. And I didn't know him personally. And I think one of the things, that we're seeing is in the text messages, that's one of the things that bothers me, because these text messages were personal text messages and now they're being broadcasted to everybody. One of the things that you and I talked about in pre-show is I can only imagine if my text messages to Mock were put out to the masses, people would be able to take those and they'd be able to mold them and use them for their advantage. And they would have no idea what I meant. The only person that would know what I meant would be Mock, because we're best friends and she understands my nuances. She understands my idiosyncrasy. She understands my sarcasm sometimes. And I can be sarcastic and I can say things in text messages that only she understands. And other people would read it and be like, what the hell is Daisy talking about? I'm sure that you guys do that with your families. Like you have family text threads where you say things that other people, if they read those things, they'd be like, what is that person saying? What? And if they read them literally, they would misconstrue what you're saying. Honestly, this is what I'm bothered by, that they're taking a text thread, because some of the things that he said about Candace and Tucker, I think he was pissed off because his donors may have been pushing him to do something or not do something. And he probably was pissed off because somebody was telling him what to do. And I get that, because Mock and I are very much like that. You guys have seen the raccoon picture where people, when they tell us what to do, we're like, don't tell us what to do. And if somebody told me what to do, I'd be like, you know what? I'm going to do it even harder. And I think he did that. I think in that moment, he was like, don't tell me what to do. If you tell me what to do, I'm going to get Candace on the stage. Do I think that he literally meant to put Candace on the stage? Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe he was just like, don't force my hand in anything because I'll do something that you don't want me to do. I think that's what he was saying personally. I
totally agree.
I think that's what he was doing.
And I think there was, so we're acknowledging there's some conflict between donors and an organization leader.
Right.
I don't think that should be shocking to anybody.
No.
That happens all the time. Especially in a creative outlet where you're messaging constantly and talking to people. I think there's so much feedback and squabbles about that. I think that's totally normal. Also totally normal to rant to your friend about how annoying it is. Because I hate being told what to do too. If it is funny, I mean, I feel like we're similar. I burn pretty hot. So like when someone makes me mad, I'll send the 12 text messages to my husband about how annoying it is. And then like after the 90th one, I'll be like, okay, actually it's fine.
Exactly. And can you imagine
we're gonna work it out?
And after the 90th one, and on number 90, when you say, okay, we're going to work it out, can you imagine if somebody just took the first 89 and published those without the 90th? And I feel like that's what's happening here. I feel like that. And I don't like that. This is what I don't like, is people are taking bits and pieces of a dead man's words and twisting it for their agenda. That I don't like. I do not like it. Okay. And they're doing it in trickles and pieces for engagement. That I also don't like. I do not like. Now, this clip allegedly is about 3 people who expressed that Charlie said he was going to be killed the day before he was killed. So here's that.
People told me off record. 2 people who have this in a written communication from Charlie. One who is a Turning Point USA donor, and I would say very much one of the white knights in this. The very day before Charlie Kirk died, he expressed that he thought he was going to be killed. He told these people, I think they're going to kill me. Okay. He did not express that to me. So I am telling you this based off the testimony of 3 people. And I am saying this because I hope that these people who I think are good will be inspired to come forward with that. Again, those conversations I had were off record. I honor that. If I say it's off record, it stays off record. But I'm hoping that watching what I am doing and feeling the energy that is rising across the world for people who want to know what the heck happened on 9/10, that, you know, they will be brave and they will say, yeah, Charlie did the day before he died think that he was going to be killed, and maybe tell us who is they? Well, for once and for all, who is they? Who is the they that he thought were going to kill him? Now to answer.
Okay, now I will just say that on October 6th, it's October 8th right now, on October 6th, she put out a tweet on X that said, should I release more of the text chain tomorrow? There was another one where she said she was honored for having the patience to sit on her pile of evidence during her game of chess where she's 10 steps ahead of everybody. I got to tell you, that's not somebody who's concerned about a friend. It's self-serving. To me, it's self-serving. Your mileage may vary. I feel like it's self-serving. That is my gut instinct. That's how I feel about that.
Yeah, I don't like the trickle out either, especially
Nope.
I think it's fine to have an interest in these things and to talk about them, even, because how can you not talk about them? But
Right.
there's a little bit. I love a good clickbait, but there's a point where it gets a little bit gross.
Right. We're in this business. I know how this business works. We know how it works. And a lot of it is engagement. And I'll trickle it out. And when she says, I'm not making money off of this. Oh my God. Are you kidding? Come on. All right. So she also had a dream about Charlie. This is something, that's something you can take to the bank. Apparently. Here's that clip.
Had a vivid dream this weekend, and Charlie came to me and he told me that he was betrayed. And so for me, you don't have to believe that, but I do believe that. And it was the immediate sense I got, actually. And I don't know who exactly it is that betrayed him, but I also felt in the dream that it is soon going to be revealed, that it's actually inevitable that it is going to be revealed, that there is nothing and no one that is going to stop the truth from coming out, and it is going to have international consequences. Take that to the bank. Quote me on that. Women tend to have a strong.
I had a dream last night that I won the lottery. I wonder if I can take that to the bank.
I hope so.
God, that'd be
Please remember
awesome.
me when.
That'd be great if I could just go to the bank and be like, I had a dream. I'm here. Hey. All right. So she's digging in and she's promising to find Charlie's killer. Here's the last clip I will subject you to. This is it.
Found Brigitte's penis. I will find who killed Charlie Kirk.
I was not expecting that clip at that moment. It caught me off guard.
It's the penis clip to end all penis clips, Corinne. There it is. If she found Brigitte Macron's penis, she will find Charlie's killer, you guys.
See, you know what? I would be fine with the clickbait on Brigitte's junk. That's totally fine. If you're gonna trickle something out, that one
Trickle the
totally
penis.
feels like fair game. Trickle the penis.
Trickle the
sticks
penis.
out.
Right.
Yeah,
That's right.
I don't like the Charlie stuff, not so much, but I'm here for the Bridget conspiracies.
Right. Because here's the thing. I just want to know, do you think that Turning Point did it? Do you think that Israel did it? Because so far she's kind of been all over the place. I don't just tell me what lane do you think the Jubies did it? I need to know what is it? I mean, because they're all over the place. She, and I say they, her followers, everybody's all over the place. At this point, because she's insinuated that Turning Point had a part in this. She's the leadership there. She's insinuating that Israel did it. She's insinuating that the Jubies I just need to know what is it? What is it?
I think she is floating a lot of ideas because of that engagement game. So if I float this and it gets enough attention, that'll get one conversation going. Then I float something else and that gets another conversation going, and something else that's 3 times the normal amount of engagement.
Right.
So it's better to not have a solid theory, because if you have a solid one, you can only have one. But if you don't, then you can have it unlimited.
Yes, and there's
that
also
seems to be the game.
Somebody said also Erica. Yeah, that's a whole other thing, because they're all talking about Erica being involved too. It's a whole other sect of this. It's crazy, you guys. So anyways, that's all happening. There's your update on that. You're welcome. And my thing is, I'm grateful that Charlie's legacy brought people back to church. That's what I'm grateful for. I mean, he was a great man. I still think he was a prophet. I still believe that. And I still think that his legacy was a fantastic one and it was divine. And I'm so grateful that he brought so many young people and old people back to church, you guys, and into a life of spirituality. That I'm grateful for. So there's that. I have one last video for you today, and that is of a woman. I just thought this was kind of nice. You guys check this out.
Monday morning Hope Corps video for you. About 6 months ago, my wife and I moved out of a super liberal town here in Michigan, Ann Arbor, to a city about 30 miles outside of town. A little more rural, a lot more MAGA signs. I'm not gonna lie, that was like one of the biggest things that had me so nervous about leaving that town was leaving the bubble, right? The perception of the bubble. I think one of the coolest things that's happened in the last 6 months is that every single interaction that I've had with people from this town has been so pleasant. They've been so friendly. I've had neighbors like bring me cookies to welcome me to the neighborhood. I got a neighbor right there actually who every time I walk by, she's like, "Hey, I got some fresh salsa for you." Like, really? My neighbors in Ann Arbor would never do that shit. They're weird, but we let them be weird. I guess what I'm trying to say is give people a chance. They might surprise you sometimes.
Yeah. And you probably shouldn't judge MAGA people. You probably shouldn't do that. You know?
Yeah, we're the best ones there are.
We're awesome. Yeah, I just love that. I thought that was really nice. And small town people are great. MAGA forever. That's right, Matthew. It's pretty awesome. Okay. I think I missed somebody from yesterday, Ed Whitefield. Thank you for the super sticker. I don't know what this means though. I'm going to read it. Maybe you guys can help me. Oh no, did she F with her face? T Swift, not unique. Same manipulated cheekbones, common nose, and her dimples are gone worse. She is singing falsetto, yet still worth watching, especially behind the scenes, how they did it. The music videos, not the effing with their face. I don't know what that means. But thank you for your super sticker. Thank you. Catherine Richards, what is the difference between a well-dressed person on a tricycle and a poorly dressed person on a bicycle? Attire. Marcy Pirles, what happened when 2 slices of bread went on a date? It was loaf at first sight. Happy Dad Joke Wednesday. Lori Weens, 3rd round interview went well. No real timeline was given, but praying for news by Friday. We are all praying for you, Lori. Robert Clark, Dad Joke Wednesday. My doctor told me that jogging could add years to my life. He was right. I feel 10 years older already. Yeah, jogging. Nobody likes to jog. Aaron Krieger, continued prayers for Thomas, Mock, and family. Love and hugs to you, Daisy. And huge thank you to Corinne for filling in this week. Love you all. Yes, all those things, all of them. FFS Jenny O, prayers. That's very generous. Thank you. Prayers for Thomas and his loving family. This had to be a massively thought out decision. Sending much love from the Garden State, supporting in the ways I can. We'll check out some sponsors later. Thank you so much, Jenny. We really appreciate that. And yes, it's been a very, very tough week for Mock. Very, very tough. So the prayers are appreciated. Very much appreciated. Laura, God bless Miriam and her family. I can't imagine how hard that had to be. Corinne, you have been awesome. She has been awesome, hasn't she? We have a great team.
Thank you.
Paula Johnson, prayers for Mock and Thomas. Such an emotional and difficult time. It has been. Yes. Thank you so much for the prayers. Arnerm, Dad Joke Wednesday. I had a torrid one night stand with a mime. She did unspeakable things, but I never heard from her again. Also, Pam Bondi did a great job testifying to Congress. Credit where credit is due. Look at you giving her credit. You go. Curio23, what did Winnie the Pooh say to his new love interest? Show me the honey. Blessing to the COTR families. I love that. Marcus Drake, fact, any actual evidence that Trump was involved with Epstein would have been brought out and blasted on the news 24/7 long ago. I totally agree with that, Marcus. They would have used that in the last election for sure. Karen Elliott, Dems are still pissed off Hillary lost in 2016. Yep. They hold grudges, don't they? Hillary especially. Hillary's the most pissed off. Marcus Drake, about 100 years ago, 2 brothers said they could fly. Turned out they were right. Get it? Right? Uh-huh. Shelly Bolton, I'd love to send a dad joke, but I'm not a dad. I try to avoid making a faux pas. PA, get it? Thank you to Corinne for filling in this week. Prayers for Thomas, Mock, and the whole family there. Lori Weens, Dad Joke Wednesday. What happens when a microscope runs into a telescope? It's kaleidoscope. Prayers for Thomas and family. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. Psalm 139:16. Thank you, Lori. Jennifer, no. Got in a car accident. The other driver was a midget. He got out of his car screaming, I am not happy. I said, so which one are you then? Also, this was said on Jen's behalf. Also, Jen sends many prayers to Mock. Thank you, Jen. Becky Anderson. Hi, Daisy and Corinne. Thank you, Corinne, for filling in. Prayers for Mock, Thomas, and family. May they be filled with peace and love. We appreciate that. Jennifer, no. Wife came home from Walmart. She said the cashier was a royal bitch. I said, you must have done self-checkout, huh? That's how the fight started. Melissa Tuttle. Did you hear about the guy who dipped his balls in glitter? He had pretty nuts. He was pretty nuts. That's probably what you needed to say. He was pretty nuts. Had pretty nuts. Happy birthday to me officially in the 50s club today. Oh, are you 50, Melissa? 50s are great. Keep up the great work, ladies. GCQC, my heart goes out to the Weavers. I'm praying so hard for Thomas and Miriam. As for all who love them, I can hardly imagine. On a different note, I call Jon Stewart a jerk, but that might be get misconstrued as a compliment here. Yep, here especially. Jennifer, no. Jen thinks her ability to be automatically sarcastic about practically everything is both her greatest strength and her biggest downfall. Maybe, but as her friends, when the sarcasm faucet is overflowing, that is how we know she's going to be okay. Yes, Jennifer. Arnerm, do two wrong thinks make a right think? I don't know. Probably. Two negatives make a positive. Isn't that right? I think so. I think I got everybody. If I miss people, and I know we have people on other platforms, we're going to have to catch up next week big time, you guys. But we're going to bring it in. Everybody bring it in. You got to bring it in, Corinne. You got to bring it in. She hates bringing it in, you guys. You guys just hug assault her. Hug assault Corinne. Okay? Everybody, thank you so much for the prayers. We will see you tomorrow morning. Have a wonderful day. Bye, everybody.
Hello, beautiful people. This is the Chicks on the Right's Indian correspondent. Thank you for watching or listening. Be very sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay up to date on all of their delicious content. Okay, thank you. Come again.